Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well, and I truly wish goodness for every viewer watching today. Today's topic is about something we often take for granted, timekeeping instruments. We glance at clocks, we wear wristwatches, we set alarms on our phones. But have you ever wondered, how did humans begin measuring time in the first place? Time is invisible, it flows endlessly. Yet, from the earliest days of civilization, people felt the need to track it, not just to know the hours, but to survive, to farm, to trade, to worship, and to travel. The story begins thousands of years ago. Long before mechanical clocks or smartwatches, ancient people relied on nature. The movement of the sun, the phases of the moon, and the cycle of stars. One of the oldest instruments was the sundial. Evidence shows the Egyptians around 1500 BCE used stone or wooden sticks placed upright in the ground. As the sun shifted across the sky, the shadow moved, helping people estimate the time of day. But sundials worked only with sunlight. So, another invention appeared, the water clock, also called the clepsydra. Traces of them go back to Mesopotamia and Egypt. It worked by letting water drip at a steady rate from one container to another. Marks inside the vessel showed how much time had passed. Water clocks spread widely. Greeks refined them. Romans used them in courts to time speeches. And Chinese inventors built complex versions with gears. Still, humans weren't satisfied. Time had to be measured at night too, when the sun and shadows disappeared. This led to star charts and astronomical observations. For example, the Babylonians observed how constellations rose and set, creating a seasonal calendar. Before we move to our today, I want to say that this channel is user-friendly. No offensive content. No misinformation. We explain things with respect, curiosity, and authenticity. By now you can see the earliest instruments were deeply tied to nature. But with growing cities, trade, and empires, humanity demanded more accuracy. This demand would spark inventions that transformed society in ways still felt today. As civilizations advanced, so did the desire for accurate time. The Greeks and later the Romans made improvements to water clocks. Some were elaborate, with gears, dials, and even automata that moved. One famous design came from Ctesibius of Alexandria in the 3rd century BCE. He built a water clock with floating indicators, sounding bells, and even mechanical birds. This wasn't just about telling time, it was also about innovation and prestige. Meanwhile, in other parts of the world, different methods appeared. The Chinese developed massive water-driven clock towers. In 1088 CE, Suzong, a brilliant Chinese engineer, constructed a tower that was part observatory, part timekeeping marvel. It used an intricate escapement mechanism, a technology that would later become essential in mechanical clocks. This shows that East Asia was equally pioneering in measuring time. Another simple but widely used instrument was the hourglass. Sand or fine dust flowed through a narrow opening between two glass bulbs. It measured short intervals consistently and was especially useful for sailors navigating the seas. Hourglasses became symbols of time itself, often drawn in medieval art to represent life's passing moments. By the Middle Ages, the demand for public timekeeping grew stronger. Monasteries where daily prayers followed strict schedules required precise instruments. This gave rise to the first mechanical clocks in Europe. Unlike water or sand, they relied on weights and gears. The earliest mechanical clocks didn't even have hands or faces. They struck bells to announce hours. The famous clock of Salisbury Cathedral in England, built around 1386, is still considered one of the oldest surviving mechanical clocks. It rings but has no dial to show time. Soon, clock towers became the pride of towns. They symbolized order, progress, and authority. The bells not only told time, but regulated markets, curfews, and work hours. By the 14th and 15th centuries, The escapement mechanism allowed more regular movement. This was revolutionary, as it gave the first sense of minutes and hours instead of just vague divisions of the day. At the same time, Islamic scholars were making advances in astronomy and timekeeping. Figures like Al-Jazari in the 12th century built intricate water clocks and mechanical devices. One of his designs even displayed zodiac signs and the phases of the moon. Across cultures, the quest was the same: to master time itself. By the late Middle Ages, timekeeping had moved from simple nature-based tools to sophisticated machines of metal and craft. This shift prepared the world for the Renaissance and the birth of personal, portable timekeeping. With the Renaissance and the scientific revolution, timekeeping entered a completely new age. The invention of spring-driven clocks in the 15th century made timekeeping portable. Instead of relying on heavy weights, these clocks used coiled springs, allowing people to create smaller designs. By the 16th century, the first pocket watches appeared in Europe. They were expensive, often worn as jewelry by nobles and merchants. Time became not just a tool, but also a symbol of status. However, these early watches were not very accurate. They often lost hours in a single day. The real breakthrough came in the 17th century, with the invention of the pendulum clock. In 1656, Dutch scientist Christiaan Huygens created the first pendulum-regulated timepiece. It dramatically increased accuracy, reducing errors to less than a minute per day. For the first time in history, people could measure time with true precision. Pendulum clocks spread across Europe, adorned in grand wooden cases, becoming the centerpiece of homes, courts, and observatories. They allowed astronomers to chart the skies more accurately and helped sailors calculate longitude at sea. By the 18th century, another major innovation emerged: the marine chronometer, perfected by Warren Marrison. Navigators had long struggled to determine longitude. Ships lost course, sometimes with tragic consequences. Harrison's chronometer solved this problem, providing reliable time even during long ocean voyages. This invention changed global navigation, making sea travel safer and trade routes more reliable. Meanwhile, clockmaking had become an art. In Switzerland, Germany, and England, master craftsmen refined gears, springs, and decorations. Swiss watchmakers especially gained a reputation for precision and beauty, a legacy that continues today. By the Industrial Revolution, timekeeping instruments moved from luxury to necessity. Factories needed strict schedules, railways required precise timetables, and societies began living by the clock. Public clocks adorned city squares, while ordinary people could finally afford pocket watches. The rhythm of life itself was changing. Time was no longer only cosmic or agricultural. It was mechanical, standardized, and increasingly global. This set the stage for the most transformative leap, the era of electricity and mass production, which would forever alter how humans interacted with time. The 19th and 20th centuries revolutionized timekeeping even further. With the rise of electricity, engineers created the first electric clocks. Instead of relying on pendulums or springs, they used electrical impulses to regulate movement. Factories, offices, and schools adopted them quickly. Since they were reliable and easier to maintain, then came railway time. Before trains, each town followed its own local time, often set by the church clock tower. But trains required synchronization, a schedule accurate across entire regions. This need gave birth to standard time zones in the late 19th century, reshaping how societies understood time itself. The 20th century brought something even more precise: the quartz clock. In 1927, Warren Marrison, a Canadian engineer, developed the first quartz crystal oscillator clock. Quartz vibrates at a steady frequency when electrified, making it incredibly accurate. Suddenly, timekeeping could be measured to fractions of a second. This leap prepared the world for the digital age. By the mid-20th century, digital watches and atomic clocks were born. Atomic clocks, first developed in 1949, measure time based on vibrations of atoms, specifically cesium or rubidium. Their accuracy is so high that they deviate less than 1 second in millions of years. Today, atomic clocks are the foundation of GPS navigation, internet synchronization, and even global financial systems. Every smartphone in your pocket is indirectly connected to them, ensuring the time you see is the same across the entire world. At the same time, timepieces became personal fashion. The wristwatch, popularized during World War I, remains both a functional tool and a cultural statement. From luxury Swiss brands to mass-produced digital watches, timekeeping has become part of human identity. Now, in the 21st century, we see smartwatches that track heart rate, predict sleep patterns, and connect with satellites. Timekeeping has transformed from survival and science to lifestyle and health, yet, at its heart, the journey reflects something deeper. From sundials to atomic clocks, humanity's pursuit of measuring time is really the pursuit of understanding life itself. All the information we provide comes from verified historical sources, including books, records, and archaeology. Sources for this video include Time Measurement and Calendar Development, Encyclopaedia Britannica, Mechanical Clocks in Medieval Europe, Cambridge University Press, Su Song's Astronomical Clock, Journal of Chinese Science History, John Harrison and the Longitude Problem, National Maritime Museum Records, Quartz and Atomic, Timekeeping, U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Thrones of Knowledge. And don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified on time. Suggest our next topic in the comments to help make our journey even better.